Let's
Okay.
hear this one. What can I? Okay, go ahead.
You're always like, what's the word? Non-apologetic, right?
Yeah.
Which I love,
Okay.
right? So we were having a topic, right? Um, we were having a topic. The topic was about ah um when is a woman's prime? When
Gosh.
is a woman past her prime in the dating world?
Okay.
And if she's past the prime, does she qualify for the A guys, or she should just go for what's left over?
Um, First off, A guys, most of them aren't really A guys. Okay, so that's the first thing. The
Okay.
second thing is it depends on what a man actually thinks a woman's prime is, right?
Let me.
Because a smart man will look at her integrity and her intelligence and think that's a prime. An unintelligent man will think her body and what she possibly brings to the table is a prime, right?
Okay.
So some women at what a man will think her prime is at the most lowest level of integrity level she could ever be at. But because
Okay.
she's cute, a
Yeah.
man will think that's her prime,
Okay.
right? So it really depends on what a man's level of integrity and what he wants in a woman is. Because I'll tell you one thing, I know a 25-year-old at her prime that's more ran through than a bitch that's 40. So, okay? So to a man who she's 25, she doesn't have children, to him that's a prime, but I'm like, that girl's getting pumped by different dick all week. So
Yeah.
what's your prime? What is a prime to you?
Okay, but you know what? You're that's an exception to the rule, though.
Let it go. Here we go. Is
It
it?
is. It's not an exception. Okay, plain and simple. If a girl's 35 and a girl that's 25, generally speaking, who would have more experience sexually?
The 35-year-old.
Exactly. That's more. It's 10 more years.
Yeah.
So naturally, if we speak in general, we're not speaking the exceptions to the rule, because you're gonna find that 35-year-old virgin, and you're gonna find that 25-year-old that has 100 body counts. We throw those exceptions out because that's not the norm.
Okay.
So yes, you are right, but we have to speak general. We have to speak logically. We cannot speak in the probability. We cannot speak in the possibility. We have to speak in the probability.
Okay, so let's put it this way. I'm a 35-year-old. I have one child who's 21. One child. I know 25-year-olds who have 3 kids, 3 baby daddies, and are still considered prime, right? Still considered prime.
They are.
They are. So it's
They are.
like, that's why I'm saying, men, your guys' convoluted version of prime isn't actually factual. Because for me as a man, I would take a 35-year-old who's been in 3 long-term relationships and 1 kid over a girl who's had 3 baby daddies, 3 kids, but is at her physical prime at 25.
But mademoiselle, you are the exceptions to the rule, though. First of all, you're 35, but you look like you're 25. Okay.
I'm 37.
You're 37. Okay.
I'm 37,
So
yeah.
I'm 50, so we're in the same mind frame, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you are the exceptions to the rule. You cannot personalize what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm not. But I'm saying, even because I'm someone who looks out and looks in, and I'm going, the word prime has changed dramatically in the last 5 years. Okay. The word prime 10 years ago, when I was at my prime, was very different of a prime than what a prime is today. In
Correct.
terms of women, right? So
Correct.
so for me, prime doesn't really exist anymore, because the economy and what is going on in the world, you need a different type of mind frame to be somebody who brings anything to anybody's table. And I got to be honest, it's lacking across the board in men and in women. So the word prime used to, because we used to just automatically associate that with smart, intelligent, good looking. Now the word prime is just a physical attribute that someone's bringing to the table. They're not even assessing them mentally yet, because we're looking at primes through social media, through pictures, through images. You haven't even talked to the girl yet for you to be like, oh my God, she's in her prime, because you're looking at her before you've even met her through a screen, right?
You know why? I'll tell you why, though.
Why?
The reason why is because you're 39 years old, right?
37.
30, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, you're 37 years old, right? So if I was 40 years old and I didn't have kids and I want to start a family, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick the 27-year-old version of yourself. I'm not gonna pick the 37-year-old only for the simple fact of reproduction. That's it. Okay? So I need you in your prime for reproducing. If I want to have kids, right?
Okay, fair, yeah.
So now, if I don't want to have kids, yeah, you're absolutely in your prime. But if I want to have kids, nah, I can't work.
Well, it's funny because I've actually found somebody that I'm going to have children with, right? I have that. I have somebody who's going to do that, who's picked me for their reproduction, because the man that has picked me to do that with is looking at what he wants his children around, what he thinks, like what the loyalty level, the solidarity level, because having kids these days is like going to Chuck E. Cheese, right? But what are you gonna? What quality of children are you gonna have? What kind of quality environment are you gonna give? What that's who you're reproducing with, right? So when men actually think about that process, that's where you find quality men too, because they're like, I'd rather go through having to work harder to have babies with that girl because she's going to give my kids a quality environment, a quality outlook, a quality mind frame, than that 25-year-old is like, get me a purse or else I'm taking you to court, right? Like that, right? So when you look at prime, you also have to look at the integrity of the man, because if you're looking at what that look for reproduction, what about the longevity and what that girl's going to provide to your kids? What if she doesn't have the mentality to provide your kids anything but make them a cheeseburger every day?
That's cool, but that's not based on age. A 39-year-old could do the exact same thing, right?
Exactly. So a prime is based off of the intelligence and the integrity of the woman, not the appearance. So that's why I keep telling you, men look at prime as age, what they look like. They don't look at the right things in terms of the word prime, right? I don't think at 25 I should have been having kids. At 27, I did not have the mental, no. But to a man, sure I did. But I know now at 35 that me producing at 25 children, they would not have had a quality environment like they could now at my age now.
Well, correct, because you were not at the level you should have been. Probably.
I should have been at, exactly. But to a man, I'm at a prime. When I'm telling you now, as an adult woman, I'm like, I know I would have not produced quality. I know that, and I see that a lot. I see a lot of women who have kids at their prime who are not providing what that child needs in terms of skills. What they're not providing the environment that kid needs to actually be a proactive person later in life in society. So, but men are choosing that woman based off of reproduction age and prime, right?
See, you're a good talker, right? You know what I mean? But the truth is that if you're 37, 38, 39, 41, 45, and you're wise, your intelligent levels to the sky, you're the perfect representation I want my daughter to be. So I'm going to choose you at 45 years old or 40 years old to reproduce with. But then once I start reproducing, there's no more age. Now what? It's done.
But that's not smart. That's not a smart comment, because we all know that there's 25-year-olds now that can't reproduce as well, that still are in clinics to reproduce, right? So it's just like reproduction now can be completed no matter what age due to science, right? So this isn't 20 years ago when that was a factor. We're talking about 2025, where even men, everybody is going into clinics to get associated, to get testing before they even have babies. And so that, I understand where you're coming from, and maybe you're in a country where that is relevant, but here in Canada, anybody can have a baby at any time. There's 2 boys having kids. There's 2, you know what I mean? It's so easy to have children now that what you're saying isn't relevant. But yes, I understand the thought process of what you're saying. But I also know that anybody, we know what's going on out there in the world. Having babies is very easy now. It's very easy.